The rare and inexplicable puberty syndrome is thought of as a myth. It is a rare disease which only affects teenagers, and its symptoms are so supernatural that hardly anyone recognizes it as a legitimate occurrence. However, high school student Sakuta Azusagawa knows from personal experience that it is very much real, and happens to be quite prevalent in his school. Mai Sakurajima is a third-year high school student who gained fame in her youth as a child actress, but recently halted her promising career for reasons unknown to the public. With an air of unapproachability, she is well known throughout the school, but none dare interact with her, that is until Sakuta sees her wandering the library in a bunny girl costume. Despite the getup, no one seems to notice her, and after confronting her, he realizes that she is another victim of puberty syndrome. As Sakuta tries to help Mai through her predicament, his actions bring him into contact with more girls afflicted with the elusive disease. Due to a tragic accident, Banri Tada is struck with amnesia, dissolving the memories of his hometown and past. However, after befriending Mitsuo Yanagisawa, he decides to move on and begin a new life at law school in Tokyo. But just as he is beginning to adjust to his college life, the beautiful Kuko Kaga dramatically barges into Banri's life, and their chance meeting marks the beginning of an unforgettable year. After having a glimpse of college life, Banri learns that he is in a new place and a new world, a place where he can be reborn, have new friends, fall in love, make mistakes, and grow. And as he begins to discover who he was, the path he has chosen leads him towards a blindingly bright life that he will never want to forget. At Suimei High, the Sakuraso dormitory is infamous for housing the school's most notorious delinquents. Thus, when the relatively tame Sarada Kanda is transferred to the dorm, escaping this insane asylum becomes his foremost goal. Trapped there for the time being, he must learn how to deal with his fellow residents, including bubbly animator Misaki Kamiyagusa, charming playboy writer Jin Mitaka, and the ever-reclusive Ryuno Sokakasaka. Surrounded by weirdness, Sarada frequently finds respite in his interactions with his one normal friend, aspiring voice actress Nanami Aoyama. When Mashiro Shina, a new foreign exchange student, joins the dormitory, Sarada is instantly enraptured by her beauty. Underneath her otherworldly appearance, Mashiro is an autistic savant, capable of world-renowned brilliance in her art, yet unable to perform simple daily tasks. After Sarada ends up in charge of taking care of Mashiro, the two inevitably grow closer, with Sarada's initial desire to escape the dormitory becoming a forgotten goal. Despite their eccentricities, every resident is incredible in their own field, leaving Sarada to contend with his own lack of any particular skill. With brilliance all around him, he thus strives to become an equal to their talent. Revolving around the hardships and joys of its colorful cast, Sakuraso no Pet na Kanojo is a heartwarming coming-of-age tale of friendship, love, ambition, and heartbreak through the lens of an ordinary person surrounded by the extraordinary. On the surface, the thought of Kyuko Hori and Izumi Miyamara getting along would be the last thing in people's minds. After all, Hori has a perfect combination of beauty and brains, while Miyamara appears meek and distant to his fellow classmates. However, a fateful meeting between the two lays both of their hidden selves bare. Even though she is popular at school, Hori has little time to socialize with her friends due to housework. On the other hand, Miyamara lives under the noses of his peers, his body bearing secret tattoos and piercings that make him look like a gentle delinquent. Having opposite personalities yet sharing odd similarities, the two quickly become friends and often spend time together in Hori's home. As they both emerge from their shells, they share with each other a side of themselves concealed from the outside world. Hachiman Hikigaya is an apathetic high school student with narcissistic and semi-nihilistic tendencies. He firmly believes that joyful youth is nothing but a farce, and everyone who says otherwise is just lying to themselves. In a novel punishment for writing an essay mocking modern social relationships, Hachiman's teacher forces him to join the Volunteer Service Club, a club that aims to extend a helping hand to any student who seeks their support in achieving their goals. With the only other club member being the beautiful ice queen Yukino Shida, Hachiman finds himself on the front line of other people's problems, a place he never dreamed he would be. As Hachiman and Yukino use their wits to solve many students' problems, Will Hachiman's rotten view of society prove to be a hindrance or a tool he can use to his advantage? Ryuji Takasu is a gentle high school student with a love for housework, but in contrast to his kind nature, he has an intimidating face that often gets him labeled as a delinquent. On the other hand is Taiga Isaka, a small, doll-like student who is anything but a cute and fragile girl. Equipped with a wooden katana and feisty personality, Taiga is known throughout the school as the Pom-Top Tiger. One day, an embarrassing mistake causes the two students to cross paths. Ryuji discovers that Taiga actually has a sweet side. She has a crush on the popular vice president, Yusaku Kitamura, who happens to be his best friend. But things only get crazier when Ryuji reveals that he has a crush on Minori Kushieda, Taiga's best friend. Toradora is a romantic comedy that follows this odd duo as they embark on a quest to help each other with their respective crushes, forming an unlikely alliance in the process. Turo Honda has always been fascinated by the story of the Chinese zodiac that her beloved mother told her as a child. However, a sudden family tragedy changes her life, and subsequent circumstances leave her all alone. Turo is now forced to live in a tent, but little does she know that her temporary home resides on the private property of the esteemed Soma family. Stumbling upon their home one day, she encounters Shigeru, an older Soma cousin, and Yuki, the prince of her school. Turo explains that she lives nearby, but the Somas eventually discover her well-kept secret of being homeless when they see her walking back to her tent one night. Things start to look up for Turo as they kindly offer to take her in after hearing about her situation. But soon after, she is caught up in a fight between Yuki and his hot-tempered cousin, Hugh. While trying to stop them, she learns that the Soma family has a well-kept secret of their own. Whenever they are hugged by a member of the opposite sex, they transform into the animals of the Chinese zodiac. With this new revelation, Turo will find that living with the Somas is an unexpected adventure filled with laughter and romance. High school student Wakana Goju spends his days perfecting the art of making Hina dolls, hoping to eventually reach his grandfather's level of expertise. While his fellow teenagers busy themselves with pop culture, Goju finds bliss in sewing clothes for his dolls. Nonetheless, he goes to great lengths to keep his unique hobby a secret, as he believes that he would be ridiculed were it revealed. Enter Marin Kitagawa, an extraordinarily pretty girl whose confidence and poise are in stark contrast to Goju's meekness. It would defy common sense for the friendless Goju to mix with the likes of Kitagawa, who is always surrounded by her peers. However, the unimaginable happens when Kitagawa discovers Goju's prowess with a sewing machine and brightly confesses to him about her own hobby, cosplay. Because her sewing skills are pitiable, she decides to enlist his help. As Goju and Kitagawa work together on one cosplay outfit after another, they cannot help but grow close even though their lives are worlds apart. Raku Ichiju, a first-year student at Boniari High School, is the sole heir to an intimidating Yakuza family. 10 years ago, Raku made a promise to his childhood friend. Now, all he has to go on is a pendant with a lock, which can only be unlocked with the key which the girl took with her when they parted. Now, years later, Raku has grown into a typical teenager, and all he wants is to remain as uninvolved in his Yakuza background as possible while spending his school days alongside his middle school crush Kosaki Onodera. However, when the American beehive gang invades his family's turf, Raku's idyllic romantic dreams are sent for a toss as he is dragged into a frustrating conflict. Raku is to pretend that he is in a romantic relationship with Kaitoji Kirasaki, the beautiful daughter of the beehive's chief, so as to reduce the friction between the two groups. Unfortunately, reality could not be farther from this whopping lie. Raku and Kaitoji fall in hate at first sight, as the girl is convinced he is a pathetic pushover, and in Raku's eyes, Kaitoji is about as attractive as a savage gorilla. Nisekoi follows the daily antics of this mismatched couple who have been forced to get along for the sake of maintaining the city's peace. With many more girls popping up his life, all involved with Raku's past somehow, his search for the girl who holds his heart and his promise leads him in more unexpected directions than he expects. Futaro Yusuji is an ace high school student, but leads an otherwise tough life. His standoffish personality and reclusive nature have left him friendless, and his father is debt-ridden, forcing his family to scrape by. One day during his lunch break, Yusuji argues with a female transfer student who has claimed his seat, leading both of them to dislike each other. That same day, he is presented with a golden opportunity to clear his family's debt, a private tutoring gig for a wealthy family's daughter, with a wage of 5 times the market price. He accepts the proposal, but is horrified to discover that the client, Itsuki Nakano, is the girl he confronted earlier. After unsuccessfully trying to get back on Itsuki's good side, Yusuji finds out that his problems don't end there. Itsuki is actually a quintuplet, so in addition to her, he must also tutor her sisters Miku, Yatsuba, Nino, and Ichika, who, despite the very real threat of flunking, want nothing to do with a tutor. However, his family's livelihood is on the line, so Yusuji pushes on, adamant in his resolve to rid the sisters of their detest for studying and successfully lead them to graduation.